So the program is still this morning on ITV. This morning we're so privileged to have Comrade Moses Agwinede. He's the chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Edo State Chapter. Comrade, you're welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, we're going to be looking at Edo 2024, a situation whereby all of us, or we are hoping and we're expecting, we're all clamoring for a violence-free situation. And of course, when you talk about violence in any situation, the youth, the youths are readily the people that people just point hands to and all that. We're going to be looking at their responsibilities, their roles in all of this. Now, let's quickly start from what happened recently in Airport Road, whereby some youths were alleged to be involved in a shooting spree. Now, I understand that the NYCN, apart from the fact that it is an umbrella for youths in Edo State, in Nigeria, you're into some form of mentorship, into some form of rebranding, reconscientizing, and of course, reorientating. So what has been going on? Why is it that we're having the kind of youths that we're having this time? And perhaps not only in Edo State, maybe across the country. What is going on?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Evans. Like you said, in every organization or a setting, there must be deviance, right? And let me use Edo State for an example. The youth of Edo State are not violent. When they say youth, the word youth have been overused over time. People can just go somewhere and orchestrate any form of behavior and any sort of violence, and then they attribute it to youth. When they say youth is between the ages of 18 and 35. These days you see grandfathers, people who are 50 years, they still call themselves youth. So basically I feel youth were being dragged into what we are not. We're being dragged into what we are not. So
have you seen the videos? I mean, yes. They're everywhere, most of them on the social media. If you're in doubt, I can play some for you now to see what happened in Airport Road. There was no person above 60 years, found there. We saw them, guys within this age that you just mentioned, irate youths demonstrating. There are even some videos allegedly whereby some were seen with guns. So what would you say?
Well, it's a pity what happened. We hope that it will not happen again. We'll continue to engage and sensitize the youth on the need to shun violence and also thuggery. Elections are around the corner, so it's expected that you see one or two things like this happening.
Okay. All right. So talking about the election now, a little wonder. I mean, as a body of youths in Edo State, how are you, preparing the youths in this direction? Not necessarily to vote for a particular party now, because I know that you are not political, but how are you preparing them for the election?
Okay. We are going into advocacy. We have different areas we are looking at. In the coming weeks, we'll be having we're partnering with the Two-Face Foundation on the Vote Not Fight rally. We're having a Vote Not Fight rally in Edo State, Benin City to be precise. And civic engagements, community engagements, and what have you. So we are doing a lot. The time is very short now. We have less than 60 days to election. We're doing a lot to see how we can sensitize the youth to shun electoral violence and thuggery.
Okay. Now, what do you make of the influx of youths coming from neighboring states, because that has been the trajectory during election. Politicians invite and they bring them in, to cause mayhem, to unsettle the situation and all that. Is it a situation that you've not been able to, galvanize your youths here in Edo State in such a way that even if we have the infiltration of other youths, they readily cannot accommodate them?
Yes, we are doing that. We're doing that. Like I said, this is election season, and you expect many things, but we are confident that the youth of Edo State, we are going to stand our ground this time around, because this election is dearly to us. This is our state, and we have to guide it jealously. Edo is a priceless bride, it's a priceless jewel, and we hold it dearly to our hearts. So we will not allow anybody come from outside the states to come and cause issues for us, because after they must have been done with whatever they came here, or they were paid here to come and do, we'll still be the one to live here and, you know, bear the cause and effects of whatsoever outcome of what they have done.
All right, so there are also allegations in some corners now that perhaps because of what the state government has done for the National Youth Council Edo State Chapter, that you may just go along that line, maybe to do the bidding of the state government. Is that correct?
No, that's not true. When they say the state government is for everybody, right? It's as if you have an ATM and the ATM is paying you money, and you are saying because the ATM is paying you money, then you must only use that ATM, right? The governor, per se, Mr. Gordon Oyegas, in line with our constitutional points, he is the grand patron of the youth council at the state level. Just like at the local government level, the local government chairman are the grand patrons of the local chapters. At the national, the president, the grand patron.
Yeah, if he is the grand patron, he may have some influence, don't you think so?
No, the governor has not called me personally as chairman to tell me this is.
Your grand patron?
Yes. He has not called me personally or even spoken to us to tell us that this is the way to go. Youth know what to do. When it's time for election, they'll come out and vote for their candidate of the choice. Okay,
so what are you going to do in this election?
Well, you know, by divine providence, we are going to look at areas where we can key in. One, like I said, sensitization, which we're already doing that. Two, we have election monitoring. You know, the INEC, we have slots for election monitoring. So we are going to monitor the election to ensure it is violence-free and also encourage youth to come outside to exercise their franchise.
Okay. Now, apart from doing some other advocacy, do you also talk to the youth? Because we're going to have ad hoc members of INEC working for a period of time for the election. These guys are youth. So do you also talk to them that, hey, you must know that you keep your integrity intact? Do you do that?
Yes, we over time it has been done, and we are working on that. We're going to do that as well, close to the election.
Okay. Now, today is 24th. We've got about some few days to October 1st. And as we speak now, there's a nationwide knowledge that there's going to be a plan, there's going to be a protest, a hunger protest or a hardship protest on 1st of August 2024. The youth are also in the center stage of all this. Now, the most recent of it all was the SACS protest that took the lives of some youths in Lagos State. And we are praying that we don't, if eventually we have the protest, we're praying that we don't have a replication of that. So are you talking to Edo youths in this respect?
Yes. Everybody has the right to protest, but it should be a non-violent protest. And I am sure that when it's time for us to come outside to express our grievances, we will not allow ourselves to be used or the protest to be hijacked. When it's hijacked, that's when it turns violent. So we can go about protesting peacefully and make our demands, and then we are sure that we'll have a reasonable outcome.
Okay. All right. So let's look at some other issues now that have to do with youth, maybe empowerment and all that, because it is often said that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. What that means is that if you are not engaged in one way or the other, then you are the type that can readily avail yourself to politicians to be used. Over the time, we've had a situation whereby so many youths in the society, they are really not engaged. They are not gainfully engaged in one way or the other. Little wonder whether the National Youth Council Edo State Chapter, if you try to do some empowerment programs, talk with authorities to ensure that these guys are engaged in one way or the other.
Yes, we have, even in the youth center, we have skill acquisitions, we have catering, we have sewing, we have ICT, and very soon now we'll have the EDO Job Center in the youth house. So we keep engaging. You have to keep engaging the young minds, because this, like you said, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So it is important that as young people, outside education, you have a skill, to complement your level of education. So we are doing that. It's not really something that happens like a miracle. all right, it's a continuous process. It's a gradual process. We are collaborating with all government agencies and also private sectors to see how we could bring up skill acquisitions and also get support. You know, one thing is to have the idea, another thing is to fund it. You know, when you are training people, you don't just train people and keep them. You train them and get them equipped with maybe startup packs to see how, after training, they can put whatever they have learned to good use.
All right, so the planned protest is tagged hunger protest, like I said before. Some call it hardship protest. Now, the federal government is, you know, welcoming suggestions now to see how they can actually handle the issues in the country. Now, in what ways do you think that the Nigerian youth can add, you know, some form of value, contribute to the federal government in trying to alleviate this hardship, this poverty that is pervading the citizenry?
Well, when you say youth contributing value, the government should make your people-friendly policies that will affect the life of a common man. The prices, there's inflation everywhere. The prices of goods and services is on the high side daily. So when you say what do you call it, our role, or how do we help the government? It's not for us to help the government. The government is supposed to help us. They should make friendly policies that will help the common man. That's all.
No, so you don't have a role?
No, we don't have any role. It's just encourage them to make friendly policies that will assist the common man.
Yeah, but we understand that government is for every person. All of us, so we are government in one way or the other. So in that sense, you still think the youths don't have roles to play?
Like I said, it is government that makes policies that affects the common man.
Okay.
When they make people-oriented policies that affects positively the life of the common man, in turn it affects the lives of the youth. So bring up initiatives that will help the masses.
Okay. All right, so back to Edo State election now. Various political parties, you know, gunning for the #1 seats. Now, are you people engaging the political parties? There are manifestos, there are programs that they be talking about. Are you seeing them? Are you engaging them? Are you asking them questions?
Yes, as young people, it is important because for me, the election is our responsibility. Edo election is our election. If we don't get it right, we'll have to live with the aftermath effect of the election for the next 4 years or probably 8 years, right? So we are constantly engaging. We are coming up with the program, an interactive session with all governorship candidates. Letters have been sent to them, and we are hoping that in the coming weeks we'll have an opportunity to engage with them one-on-one, you know, exchange their manifestos, hear from the one-on-one, ask questions, and then we hear what they have for the youth.
You know,
yeah,
the concern most times has always been that when youth engage politicians, they solicit for one help or the other, and these politicians they readily give them to you. So by doing so, they would have bought your conscience, you know. So what is the guarantee that that is not going to be the situation this time?
No, that is far from it. We are only going to make demands, and the demands are very clear. What are the, should I say, youth-oriented policies when you become governor, if elected? What do you think that you can do for the youth of Edo State? That's all. Okay. And then you tell us, we look at it, we hear from the other person, and then we take our stand.
Yeah, not the demands that you need 18-seater bus like 12, you need a secretariat like...
We already have a secretariat.
Yeah, but we've seen situations and instances whereby you make some personal demands. And these politicians, these guys, they are very crafty too. They give them to you, buy your conscience over, and at the end of the day, you are trapped.
No, we are not going to do that. We're not going to do that, not at all.
Okay. All right, so if there's anything that you need to let the Edo youth know this morning, we're going to give you the opportunity because we're looking at, first and foremost, a violence-free Edo 2024, and of course, the planned protest, if it comes to be eventually. We're also looking at a way that even when we protest, we can still have our nation back. We pray we don't have the NSAS protests, you know, that resulted into the deaths of you know, some people in Lagos and even parts of other parts of the country too. So talk to the Edo youths. They're watching.
Okay, Edo youth, this is an opportunity to urge all of us to come out September 21st, 2024 to exercise our franchise. Edo is our state, and we should guide it jealously. It is a precious bride and a precious jewel. So coming out to vote for the candidate of our choice, we are going to only vote, or we should only vote for a candidate who has the interests of the young people at heart. Because for me, we are not leaders of tomorrow, we are the leaders of today.
Yeah,
so,
what about...
we should not engage in any form of violence. We should not allow ourselves to be used. Any politicians that called you to say, come and, you know, engage in election thuggery or election violence, tell them to bring their children first.
Yeah, what about the protests?
Yeah, well, the protest, it's okay. We can go about with the protest, but it should be peaceful.
Yeah, when you say peaceful now, how exactly do you mean? I mean, the last NSAS protest we saw, it was peaceful in some ways, but what we saw was a situation whereby some youth had to burn, you know, tires on government roads, you know, destroying government facilities, infrastructures, and all that. So is that what you call a peaceful protest?
Well, peaceful protest means going about expressing your grievances in the peaceful and orderly manner, not burning tires.
Okay.
Yeah, so we will not allow ourselves to be used. I assure you that as young people, we have learned, because the aftermath negative effect of a violent protest, it also boils down to us. We are going to be the major casualties of whatsoever happens during the protest. We've not recovered from the NSAS protest. You agree with me that Nigeria as a country and the economy as a whole has not recovered, and in turn it's telling on us. So we are learning fast. It's not really easy, you know, to when people come outside, to also lead them and also probably guide them to. Definitely there must be deviance, but we assure you that we'll see how we can continue to engage the young people to desist from such acts.
Yeah, what about when, because the reason why I'm asking you this question now, it is a very rare privilege for us to have you here this morning because of your very tight schedule. Lots of Edo youths are counting on you. Anything you say is almost an authority to them. Now, a situation whereby you have youths blocking major roads at the expense of law-abiding citizens, because we've seen situations whereby there was one that happened recently at Uniben. A woman had to deliver. You can imagine that kind of a situation. But again, we must also praise some youth, the way they go about their protests. I mean, I have seen a situation whereby an ambulance was approaching, and they had to clear the way. Those kind of youths are the kind of youths I want to see during protest and all that. But let's look at a situation whereby youths have to block, you know, public roads at the expense of law-abiding citizens. I mean, meaning untold hardship on people.
Well, like I said, in every demography, you must have deviance, right? And some people tend to take advantage of the situation to perpetrate all sorts of unruly behaviors. And we tend to check. Most times when you see during a protest or during a solidarity walk or anything, you see people who are not even part of the planned protest per se, just come from different areas to come and join just because they have ulterior motives towards it.
Yeah.
You know, so, and most times you see people chasing them. We've had a protest in Uniben whereby we were advocating for increments, fighting against the increment of school fees. And then people came from neighboring communities to come and try to hijack the protest. Some of us stood firmly to tell them, no, that's not the reason why we are protesting, not to cause me, not to cause hardship. It's to just make our demands. So that's what it should be.
Okay. All right. So if by August 1st, the protest is on, are you going to tell the Edo youths, are you going to sound a kind of a warning, permit me to use that word now, sound a kind of warning to them that, hey, we are going to be enforcing a situation whereby we don't witness any violence. In other words, do you have any mechanism put in place to ensure that you enforce a violence-free you know, protest?
So by July, we hope that by July 30th, I'm going to be addressing press. You know, yeah, I'm going to be addressing press to ensure that we send the message across. But definitely, you will see in some part of the country, just let me use Edo State, you must see some bad eggs who still want to come out. So, but we hope that this time around is going to be peaceful.
Yeah, when I say enforce now, perhaps I'm also looking at the possibility of maybe giving some kind of punitive measures, because you know there are some youths that not until you let them face the punitive measures, we're not saying that maybe their right to protest is being trampled upon now, but they should know that, hey, even as they protest, there are legal ways to do these things because of the punitive measures that stares them at the face. So are you going to do that? Do you have that?
Yeah, we're going to encourage law enforcement agencies to go after anyone who feels he wants to use the medium to perpetrate any evil or any mayhem. We're going to encourage the law enforcement agencies to go after anyone.
The law enforcement agencies that at times some of the youths allegedly shoots. Is that what we're saying? I mean, the one that happened in the airport a few days ago, a youth was alleged to have been responsible for that gunshot.
Well, a youth, you said a youth was alleged. We are not sure if the person is a youth. You don't know who shot him.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So the gunshot came from where?
Anybody can shoot a gun.
No, we said a while ago, you even agreed on this program that the people we saw on that, we have the clips. If you are in doubt, we can roll some. It was majorly youths that we saw there.
But there's no video of anybody when you are seeing, or anybody seen shooting the gun or shooting the police officer.
So it was a police officer that shot a police officer?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I was not there.
Anyway, we'll leave that discussion. So we want to say a big thank you, Comrade Moses Agunede, the chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Edo State Chapter, for joining us on this program this morning. So please, as you go around, ensure that you educate, you know, what's the word now? You educate your youths and also let them know, mobilize them in such a way that they know the right thing to do. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Okay.